You know, Darren to be great.
You would fight him.
Man, tell him to come up there.
He got to come to win 54.
He said I got a glass chin. So tell him to come and touch it.
Wow.
And you know Darren to be great, you would fight him, man. Tell him to come up there. He got to come to win 54. He said I got a glass chin. So tell him come and touch it. Our man Tank has never been one to hold back his words, and this time he's got the boxing world talking again. Everything kicked off when the prestigious Ring Magazine Awards were held at the old Royal Naval College in London. It was a night to remember. For many, with the biggest names in the sport showing up: Alexander Usyk, Canelo Alvarez, Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, Lennox Lewis. The list went on and on. Every big star seemed to be there. Well, almost every star. Tank cannot, __. With Terence Crawford at all. Why? Keep pushing for that. He will destroy Tank, bro. One name was glaringly missing from the guest list: Gervonta Davis, and when Tank realized he hadn't been invited to the event, he didn't stay silent. In true Davis fashion, he jumped on Instagram ready to call everyone out. Tank wasn't just annoyed, he was furious. He shared the same image that Matchroom Boxing had posted of the night and let loose a string of insults. Why they didn't invite everybody, but they invited people. They deal with F out of here. Stopped eating. He didn't stop there, even calling Eddie Hearn a little rat. Davis added, look at the little rat, thinking he came up on something. Now tell them all fight each other, since they have a heavy roster. These fighters now like trash. Yeah, they trash. I think back in the day fighters was better than the fights today. Tank didn't stop at just Eddie Hearn. He had plenty to say about Turki Alalshikh, the owner of Ring Magazine, and the man behind many big events in Saudi Arabia. Davis ripped into him, accusing of knowing nothing about the sport. They want to act like this guy good for boxing when he not good at s. Tank said angrily, if so, why he not building the people where he from? This guy knows nothing about boxing at all, and this who they turning to all eaters for dant. This wasn't just about not being invited to a fancy event, it felt personal. It was about who gets to be celebrated in boxing, and who doesn't. Obviously all the fans want to see you and Tank in a ring. This, do you think Turki Alalshikh a man to make that? Yeah, I think that's going to be a tremendous fight. Oh, I think he's saving boxing so, once Tank gets with him, and, I think the fight is going to happen. He seemed to think the whole event was less about real talent and more about playing favorites. To make matters worse, he didn't hold back from taking shots at the fighters who have been heading to Saudi Arabia to compete in Turkey's Riyadh season events. LOL, they have to go over there to make money and still do. Tank wrote in his rant, I sell where I'm from, America. He mocked the boxers who travel overseas for the big payday, saying they fight in front of small crowds just because the checks are fat. They be going over there getting their ass kicked fighting in front of a total of 19 people, but because they rich it's cool. I've been hearing some rumblings about Terence Crawford versus Tank Davis, and when I think about this fight I am getting Errol versus Mikey Garcia vibes. For many, Tank's comments came across as bitter, but he stood firm, making it clear he wasn't going to bow to anyone or chase money like some of the others. He was frustrated and angry, and his words made it obvious that he felt disrespected by being left out. It wasn't long before Terence Crawford decided to jump into the drama. Crawford has never been one to shy away from taking shots, and he saw this as the perfect moment to poke fun at Tank on Twitter. Crawford couldn't resist posting, I see somebody mad they wasn't invited to the Ring Magazine music gala. The tweet went viral almost instantly, with fans from both camps chiming in. Crawford's laughing emojis made it clear he was enjoying the situation, and the tweet added fuel to an already blazing fire. Fans couldn't wait to see how Tank would respond, and of course Davis didn't disappoint. In no time Davis clapped back with a fiery response that kept the heat alive. You nothing but a puppet, he said, addressing Crawford directly. Y'all chasing after the money, you're one of the reasons I want to leave this s behind. Boxing has become boring, it's more about money now. How you retiring? You ash what chong, this is trash garbage. If you got the opportunity to sign a prospect for GTD. Tank's reply was loaded with frustration, not just at Crawford but at the state of the sport itself. He seemed fed up with how things were going in boxing, and his words hinted at deeper issues he's been feeling for a while. For Tank, the sport he loves so much seems to be losing its soul, replaced by money and politics. The back and forth between Tank and Crawford didn't just come out of nowhere. These two have had tension brewing for years. While they've never fought, the rivalry between them has always felt personal. Tank has always been confident in his skills, once even boldly stating he'd knock out Crawford if they ever fought. Hear somebody like Tank say 147 I knock but out. Well, he just talking, you know. He got the confidence in himself that he believed that he can do that because he's been knocking All these fighters out that he's been in the ring with. Crawford on the other hand has stayed at the top of the sport, building a legacy is one of the best. The clash of egos between these two fighters is something boxing fans can't get enough of. They represent two different sides of the sport. Crawford has often been seen as the ultimate professional, chasing greatness and taking on all challengers. Davis meanwhile brings the swagger and fire that fans love, always ready to speak his mind no matter who it offends. This latest spat only added more fuel to their already heated dynamic. Fans can't stop talking about the possibility of these two finally settling things in the ring. Even though they fight in different weight classes, the idea of Tank and Crawford facing off seems impossible, but in boxing anything can happen, especially when bad blood is involved. For now it seems like this war of words is far from over. Both fighters are standing their ground and neither seems ready to back down. Fans are left wondering what will happen next, whether it's more insults, a confrontation, or maybe one day an actual fight. Whatever happens, one thing is clear: the tension between Tank and Crawford is only getting stronger and the world is watching. How far away are we from getting Bud Crawford and Tank Davis, and would weight be an issue there, or would that just be a matter of you waiting for him to be ready for you? Yeah, no, Tank is at a lower weight class than me. He's at 135, I'm at 147, that's 2 weight classes apart, so he would have to come up. Yeah, cause I wouldn't never, you can't get that low, so that's not going to happen, cause I saw people talking about it. You don't think that'll ever. However, not everyone sees Tank is off the course. In fact, some of the boxing greats are praising him for not entertaining the Saudis. Tim Bradley has always been one to speak his mind, and over the years he's taken his fair share of shots at Gervonta Tank Davis, from criticizing his style in the ring to questioning his commitment to the sport and even his resume. Bradley hasn't held back when it comes to Davis. However, it seems something has changed recently. Now Bradley appears to be trying to mend fences with Tank, even going so far as to praise him publicly for standing his ground in the face of what many see as the overwhelming influence of Saudi Arabia and the money tied to it. Got to ask your thoughts on Tank saying he'd knock out Terence in 6 rounds. You think he was playing trolling? What's selling tickets to his new fight? Was that like his tweets? Like he said it, he said audio, he said it, he's like, if I tap that chin. Bradley's latest comments came in reaction to Tank's recent outburst about Turki Alalshikh and the boxers flocking to Riyadh for big payday. In fact, Bradley seemed to admire the fact that Tank had the courage to say something that many others were clearly avoiding. He couldn't help but offer his praise, but with a catch. That's why I respect Tank. Bradley said, hey Tank, you got a new fan, dog. You are a real one, dog. As of late you've been showing me you a real one. I like that. Bradley's words seemed genuine as he gave Tank credit for not falling into the trap that other boxers had, chasing the big paydays in Saudi Arabia at the cost of their music integrity. Bradley went on to say that Tank was one of the few fighters who wasn't willing to stoop down and gravel for money. The former champion praised Davis for standing firm in his stance, choosing not to compromise his principles for a hefty payday in Riyadh. He didn't mince words either. Bradley was clear in his admiration for Tank's decision to speak up. I like what you're doing, man. Bradley continued, you're saying I don't need Shakur because you don't want to go over there. One thing I can say about Tank is he's smart, he can box, yes, and he explosive, you know what I mean, but I'm saying skill-wise and in the mind I don't think neither one of them. However, Bradley made it clear that his respect for Tank was conditional if Tank were to suddenly turn around and take a deal in Saudi Arabia. After all of his criticisms, Bradley said he would have a problem with it now if you go over there and take back everything you said, and you kiss the ring too. Bradley warned, you know Shakur is over there, and that's why I respect you. You're saying I don't need Shakur because you don't want to go over there, but if Tank were to go back on his word, Bradley made it clear he would be disappointed. If you go back on your word, then you're going to lose a big fan, dog, and I'm going to come at you. Bradley added, I'm going to come at you for real. Bradley's comments show a shift in his perception of Tank Davis. For a long time Bradley was highly critical of Davis, calling him out for his behavior in and out of the ring.